And we are back. Woohoo! All right, yay! I have no idea what's going on. This seems to be a reoccurring theme, and something about this capture card is creating this issue. Now, I left the computer on for X amount of time, but that's neither here nor there. So let's get into the next thing, guys. Next thing we're going to talk about is the jackhammer. Jackhammer is hands down my favorite of all the chatterbaits, and I'll show you why. The jackhammer has different color blade selection, and I'll show you guys what I mean by that. Every blade selection is going to be attributed to a different watercolor. So let's show you guys what the mat looks like. That's the mat. Silver, like a brushed nickel almost. That's that good bronze. You know what I mean? That really high glass bronze. And then that's another just drab, olive green drab. Differences. Here we go. Let's get into this, you guys. Differences in the jackhammer to the original chatterbait. Original chatterbait, like we talked about, looks like an octopus because of that pop-on skirt. You know what I mean? It's got that real octopus looking look to it. It doesn't have that natural flow. Now, as opposed to the jackhammer has a hand-tied skirt. So we're going to look in there. We're going to look at that. We're going to take a look at the keepers. Okay, hand-tied wire around that skirt down at the base. You're also going to notice the keepers, the two-prong keepers. And these right here will catch baits. These will hold baits. These are like soldered onto this this hook. And as you can see, there's a couple of like rivets holding the head on and stuff. But the jackhammers, they'll hurt. Boy, they'll cost you a few dollars. But here's the thing I would tell you as far as the presentation goes on the jackhammer. Hands down, you're not going to find anything that sits off and works this thing in the water. And when I say flow, I mean it's going to have a great presentation. When you get the pull, it's going to come short. And then when you stop, it's going to give a really nice open fall to it. Like I said, this is by far hands down my favorite. Again, 3/0 Yamagatsu hook on these. Or I think these are Evergreen Internationals is who makes the jackhammer, but it's all in conjunction with Z-Man. These are by far one of my favorites. Let's see what else we got. All right, so we talked about the different blades colors. And we're going to talk about bait colors here in a minute as far as why I choose these different bait color combinations. All right, guys, just shortly after the creation of all of those, hold on one second. And because the jackhammer did such a great job as far as what they're actually got going on with the action of that lure. And like I said, again, they come in 3/8, ½ ounce, and 3/4. I normally stick to the half. We'll talk about all that here in just a minute, guys. The next one Z-Man came out with is called the CFL or Freedom CFL. Again, we've got the head connected directly to the blade. That's that Z-Man patent right there. The thing you will notice here is look at that head. That head is separate and detached. You see that skirt looking like the octopus like we talked about. You can see that's actually hand tied on there. But let me show you what's different about this particular Z-Man. This particular bait actually allows you, see that skirt, see that little O-ring looking skirt there, the black thing on the back of that hook? This is a 5/0 hook, you guys. That is a big 5/0 EWG right there. That thing is super big, you know what I'm saying? This is for big bass in the down south. This thing's overall distance with a tail or with a trailer, you could put like a 5-inch on this thing and you'd be good to go. Now, the difference in this CFL or Freedom design, you can see inside there, it kind of looks like a corkscrew. And I'll show you in just a second what this thing allows you to do. Now, if you twist this thing just right, you can actually... Almost got it. Hold on, guys. This would have been my first time getting it in one try. This was my only fear to taking this thing apart and showing you guys. We're doing it live! Boom. Okay, check that out. I took the head off. I took the head off and I took the hook and the skirt off. Now, I can just pop this hook, ride this hook skirt right back down that hook, take it off of this side, and I can go from a 5/0, like this big 5/0 EWG, to maybe a 4/0 EWG. Okay? Or even a 3/0 EWG. Way smaller. Or even a 2/0. This thing will actually go down to a 2/0 EWG. There it is. That'll give you guys an idea of how small you can put that hook on there, and then just reconnect it right back to the head that we took off earlier with that little, looks like a spring, but it's actually really strong wire in there. You can see that right there, you guys. And then I can just give a little twist to it. Now, do I think a fish could get this off in the process of bringing it back to the boat? I don't know. I have a hard enough time getting it off on my own. You know what I mean? Like, but I'm sure if you were hunting something with something like this is going to be real interesting. This, guys, is probably one of the most searching baits as far as erratic movements. You start getting into trailers on a chatterbait like this, and this thing is going to create chaos. Now, I don't know if I'm going to swim this thing. It depends on the trailer. If I'm using like a if I'm using like a paddle tail trailer, and this thing's got like an erratic little left to right, and then you add the action of that separate hinge there, I mean, this thing could be a search bait like nobody's business, you know. Have I ever caught anything on any of these? No, I haven't. Yeah, Mark, you saw that hook. I know, I agree, man. I agree. That's a pretty good size hook, dude. That ain't no joke. That's nobody's business right there, Chief. That's a serious hook. Again, we're going to look at blade colors, okay? Back to blade colors, guys. It's available in silver. Now, it's a high chrome silver. You know what I mean? Notice how that one wasn't like the low, what do they call that, nickel brush nickel? That wasn't, this isn't brush nickel. This is high shine gold / bronze. And then this is the matte silver. Almost black. It's not really black because it still has a little bit of that, you know, see, there you go. You caught a bit of the sheen off there, but it's a matte black. Now, as far as why I do all this stuff, we'll talk about that here in a little while, guys. Let's get some more music. All right, next we're going to get into the next big thing. Right after the CFLs took off, those are pretty cool. Like I said, I haven't even started trying those yet. We'll talk about where to fish those here in just a minute. Hey, welcome back, Robert. Right after that introduction came the Z-Man Cross Eyes. And this gets pretty interesting, guys. I know, like, it's like, wait a minute, what's the difference? What are we really talking about here? We're going to get into that in just a second. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It looks like the picture's good now and there's no problems. Like I said, that's straight coming from my capture card because I'm watching on my computer and it's nothing to do with anything the computer has. It's just literally getting stuck on a capture moment and it's not allowing it to move. Again, my choice in capture card might not have been the best one. All right, now we're going to get into the Cross Eyes CFL. or the cross-eyes chatterbait, guys. Check this out. I want you guys to keep your eye on here. As you see these two swimmers here, a lot of people are. We're going to go over what these things actually do here in a minute. But as you notice the head, it has almost that football head. For any of you guys that jig fish, if you've ever seen a Z-Man cross-eyes jig head, it's just a cross between a football head and a swim head. So let's take a look at this now. We're going to put these two side by side. Just look at the head comparison to the from the jackhammer to the cross-eyes. Oh, I should have done something with a bit more color for you guys. It's very, very similar, not too dissimilar, but at the same time, the difference on this one is, again, these two riders. And a lot of people are like, oh, those are just weed guards, man. That's not a big deal. They're always like that. Well, here's what's interesting about the real design behind what these two little prongs are right here, okay? These prongs are actually designed to keep your bait horizontal in the water. That is the real reason for these two runners right here. These are not as much weed guards, because if you put any kind of pressure on those, I'm getting to the hook. It's not very difficult. But what happens is, because of the offset head, because of that weird design on that head, that little bit, that football style head, again, hand tied skirts on the cross eyes, but the keeper takes the hit. The keeper takes the hit in this aspect. Take a look at that. So that on one side, you've got what looks like a lead keeper, okay? But it's actually not a lead keeper. It's actually a wire that's actually been painted the same color as the hook itself. And then on the opposite side, you have another one of those really sharp wire keepers. You know, the actual kind of welded on there type of wire keeper. But this thing right here, guys, actually acts when this thing's traveling through the water like this. These things not only act as a weed guard, but they act as a bait stabilizer. So if you're going to use, because of the offset head, this head will actually cause this bait to roll. And these things are just like prop fins. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had two stabilizer prop fins, like on catamarans and things like that, they sometimes have those little, that's basically what these things are secondarily serve as. So when you cut these things off, you're going to notice you get a lot of roll on your bait. And we're going to talk about the difference and why Z-Man went to this particular style as another design. And the reason they went to this head and the uses for it. But again, availability in blade color, we're talking, I got the silver, or gold/bronze polished bright. I got the silver polished bright nickel. And then I've got the dull, the matte nickel. It's not actually a black, it's just a matte nickel. And, you know, like I said, again, color variability and use. We're going to talk about all the uses in just a second. I just want to show you the baits real quick so we can get through that, and then we'll pick a couple up at a time. You're going to notice the color schemes again. Guys, look at my different color schemes to give you guys an idea. White fire craw bluegill with a little bit of green pumpkin. That's one bait. That one right there's got a pretty fancy skirt. I tied that one, so. After that introduction into the Z-Man products, then they decided, you know what would be even a better idea? I'm going to give you guys a second to think about what would be a better idea. Now that we've pretty much taken every product that we have and stuck a blade right on the head, what else could we do? No, Rod, I've never used those hard buzz baits with the paddle in the middle, man. I'm not really a gimmick bait fisher. I mean, I'm sure, dude, listen, fish are going to hit whatever fish are going to hit. I seen that dude hit on the turd bait the other day. I mean, not to sound gross or nothing, but I mean, it's just a plastic fake turd, dude. I mean, whatever. It's got some hooks in it. And I mean, like, again, fish will hit anything, dude. It's all about the profile. And if it looks like a stick bait, they're going to kill it because it looks like a dying bait fish. So Z-Man decided that if we're talking about vibration in the water, man, why not just make a giant blade? Like, look at the size of this blade, you guys. Look at the size. Oh, hook size on that last one's a 3-aught. I'm going to give you guys a comparison here. This is a jackhammer size. This is the big blade. I wonder why they came up with that. I mean, I have no idea why they would call it that. I'm not holding it any closer. That's a side-by-side, like they're touching each other. It's almost 1.5 times its size. As a matter of fact, I think it is right about 1.5 now that I look at it. Oh, that was smooth. Much larger vibration. Again, 1/2 ounce model. We're looking at a 4-aught hook here. 4-aught straight shank this time, not so much EWG. We've got 2 painted wire keepers, one on both sides. It's not like that generic hook. It doesn't feel like it's actually a wire keeper that's been what do they call that? Powder coated. Nailed it. The powder coated. Again, you got that little bulbous head. Now, when I say bulbous, a lot of you guys might be like, oh, he's using the big words again. Bulbous, pear-shaped, like a light bulb. You understand what I'm saying? Skinny on one side to go into an expanding bottom area into circular again. Bulbous. Bulbous. That's the term, you guys. So if you ever hear me or anybody else refer to the word bulbous, you know what we're getting at now. All right, you guys. All right, let's do this. Blade colors again. This is that flat black. We talked about that. It's not quite black, but it's flat black, basically. And then we've got the high silver. That's very, very shiny on the white on white. And what's interesting about the Big Blade series is they're going, instead of like the matte colors, they're going with like orange on fire. And again, hand-tied skirts on these ones, guys. Hand-tied skirts. These are not those, these aren't, see how that falls just more naturally? It doesn't have as much of that appearance of the puffed-out octopus. You know what I mean? These are a little bit different. But again, take a look at my color combinations here. This is, you know, for you guys to look at. I got to figure out a different way to hold these things. And we're going to get into why I picked these colors here in just a little bit. Bulbous. Well, after we started playing with all that, I left one out. And there's a reason I left one out. And it's because we went from one extreme with, you know, we talked about the jackhammer, which is a little bit more extreme as far as, you know, the price-wise. You're talking about $5.99, $6, and undulating your worm. They're $5.99, $6 up to the jackhammers that are anywhere between $17 and $22 a piece. The big blades, the cross eyes, are anywhere between $15 and $17.99. So I mean, we're talking 20 with a trailer, anywhere between $18 and $20 is what you're going to throw every single time you throw these things out. So with that being said, from the big blade, you know, that you guys saw, Jackhammer decided, with the help of Evergreen International, to create the Jackhammer Stealth Blade. And this was a pretty interesting thing. And a lot of you guys might fish square bill crankbaits. And if you've got experience fishing square bill crankbaits and you like the way that they've, you know, vibration in the water. Now, guys, here's the difference. This summer, I am decided, I've put 3 cameras in the pool. I've figured out how to station cameras in the pool in such a way that I'm going to get a chance to throw every single one type-wise of these chatterbaits and work it in my pool with the pump off. So you guys are going to get the total audio of this thing coming directly at you, directly by you, and looking from the top of it as if it was bouncing across the bottom. I figured out a way to mount all 3 GoPros, and I'm going to film this with all the different kinds of chatterbaits and maybe a couple of different trailers. So that's going to be a cool episode for the summer when I do an actual film talk, tackle talk. So until then, we're doing it live. The next edition, guys, was called the Stealth Blade. This one's pretty neat, man. I'm not going to lie. This thing right here, I've had a lot of success on. Look at the size of that giant melon on that thing. I mean, head-wise, let's take a look at that, you know, this head area here. Very similar to the jackhammer. Jackhammer's on my right, which would be, yeah, your left. And then there's that stealth blade. But take a look at how small that little plastic blade is. Now, my first day of throwing one of these was down on the Okeechobee when these things first came out. I caught them like the day of release. They had already gotten mine to me. And now, by the way, I'm not sponsored by Z-Man. I'm not sponsored by Z-Man. I'm not sponsored by anybody. Everything that you guys are seeing here has come like completely out of my pocket. You understand what I'm saying? But the stealth blades were really interesting because if you're looking for that vibration style bait, but you don't want all that, you'll see what I'm saying when I put these things underwater. You're totally going to see what I'm saying. Now, these blades have a small... See that refracted area that I was talking about? That's actually a cut lip. So when this thing travels through the water, very similar to this, the flat side hits the water, but the wake vibration that's created off these beveled edges is a lot more subtle. So let's take a look at the color of these. These come on a 3-aught Yamagatsu hook. These are made by Evergreen International again. Wire hand tied skirts. So those are not the generics. These are the good ones. You're going to see you've got 2 barb keepers. Both of them welded, soldered, and powder coated. Guys, I put these red things on here for people like me because, like, I poke myself a lot. I poke myself a lot with hooks. And I'm sorry, but I'm not very good with my hooks. I poke myself. We all poke ourselves. That's how you know you're a fisherman, because you've got, like, bass thumb and hook finger. You know what I'm saying? Or line cut crook. If you ain't got, like, a scar right here where this 2 fingers come together from catching your line and trying to pull it out of the weeds, you're not a fisherman. I don't care what your mom told you. You are not the fastest rollerblader in Texas, little red rocket. You're not. But these get different color combinations here. These are more, because the blade is just a crystal clear, that's where the stealth blade, and like I said, the way these things work with the flat side and then the beveled edge on the back end, it gives you a lot smaller profile. Because I got a little theory. I got a theory on how fish see when it comes to water, and I think that you guys might want to hear this, because this might be, if this works, man, this is going to be a serious fishing tip, like, for all of us. But I got a feeling that, like, fish, because of the way their eyes, the rods and their cones are developed, all right, what I think, my opinion, is that when you have particulate matter in the water, which is what creates the cloudiness, it's dirt, it's pollen, it's algae, it's whatever it is, right? When you're bringing a bait that's vibration or something that darts, you know, a stick bait, a jerk bait, a fluke, okay, I think that it creates a wake in the water pattern that the fish can see. Now, they say that fish can see 5 to 1, so for every foot of visibility we have in the water, fish see 5 feet. Now, that's one of the things that came up on that video I was watching the other day, the one we watched the segment of earlier. With that theory, he then talked about color, and that's where a lot of my color combinations came in. With the clearer water, he talked about natural presentation, and that's where I go to, like, the whites and the silvers, because that mimics your shad or your shiners. And then you have the golden shiner, which is why I have the gold blade ones, and it just depends. That's where I start to get to the match the hatch part. But what I was getting at earlier was the thing that I think occurs is that with search baits or bladed jigs or any kind of repeating trail or reeled lure, as it comes through those thicker waters, it displaces the debris in the water, the particulate matter, and I think that allows different light in. And I think bass are so capable of hunting, they're so predatory and they're so advanced that they actually can follow it like a trail. Do you understand? Like, if one area is black and then all of a sudden it's lit and it's lit and it's lit and it's lit and it's like following lit up in this area, would that not draw your attention if you were just looking in that same area and it was complete darkness? And that's what I think the bladed jigs are very effective at, is that creating that ripple in the water actually gets the fish to follow it, because like the guy was saying in the video earlier today, he had mentioned that fish are just straight sight, you know, bass are straight sight fish, you know, and they will see your bait. They're going to have to see it. The only thing they can't see is directly under them, and that's why a lot of them sit as parallel or pointed down in some little way, so they have better coverage with their eyes. They can't see under their mouths, though. Once they hit their chin, they're done. Or their jawline, they're done. They're not seeing anything under that. But, you know, getting into the colors, he was talking about depth and presentation, you know, and basically blue is the universal color. Blue and black, fish can see that. It stands out. But then I started thinking flat. Yeah, Rod, you're getting me flash and vibration. But like I said, Rod, I think they actually can see strong enough that in the dingiest water for us, they are catching just breaks in the light that's allowed to flow through the particulate matter enough that it creates a trail. If an object, a fish, or your lure happen to go through there, I've caught some big nasty fish, dude. Some really big nasty fish. As a matter of fact, guys, give me 2 seconds. I'll show you some of the nastiest water fish you've ever seen. Hold on. You guys are still there. I'm just going to make sure everything's working here, because like I said, that thing's weird, man. Whatever's going on with that is a bit odd, and I don't really know what's doing that. It's something in my capture card, so I really want to apologize, and it really hurt my numbers. There was a lot of you guys hanging out tonight. Wolf. Cavitation. That's exactly the word I was looking for, Wolf. Thank you so much, bud. That was exactly the word I was looking for, is the cavitation that's created. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, Swaggy, I'm here, man. Everything looks good, dude. Give me 1 second. I'm just, I got to go into this thing, and I want to pull something up and let you guys watch it, because, like, the water is absolutely terrible. Like, this totally does not look like the kind of place you're going to hit anything. Goodness gracious. This was a long time ago. I don't even remember how long it was. Hold on. I'm there. I'm close. Here we go. Yeah. 1 second, guys. I'm still there and I'm still moving, right? Nice. Still there, still moving. Okay. You guys ready for this? Let's do this. Look at that soup's crap kitchen right there, you guys. Oh my God, who's fishing that? What do you think with visibility? Let's go. Give me 1 for 1 foot and down, guys. Tell me what you're looking at here. Like, I'm not seeing anything. Hold on. You guys aren't even seeing that. I didn't even hit the button. Take two. Take two. Why don't you guys look at that, man? What's the visibility there, you guys? Yes, Wolf, I do know about the scuba diving. But take a look at this, man. Look at this soup, dude. This is what this is fish in my back lake. This is what Harris is like on about 80% of the lake. This is what it looks like all the time. And people say, bro, there ain't no fish in that lake. Ain't no fish in that lake, dude. I'm going to tell you right now, not in this. There ain't no fish in that lake. But let's watch this. Visibility 0. Yeah, Rod, that's exactly right. Robert Sharp 1, less than 3. Bro, it's 0. It's 0 feet. You guys ready for this? Watch this. Saw that cast, right? That's a good looking cast. It's nowhere crazy. It doesn't look crazy, right? Looks good right there. We'll put it up on the screen right here. Right here's my cast. I know you guys see it. All right, let's do this. That was another 2. Fish on. Boy, that thing got bent up. Patty, this one's got my drag up, dog. Whoa, bud. Dog. Patty, my drag, dog. Please, 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 my drag, dog.
Whoa, bud.
Drag, dog.
Get him in here. Come here. Get. I lost him. Bring him back. Oh, my God.
I'm here, you guys.
Big buddy.
Wow, bud. The man does it again.
The man does it again.
The man does it again, bud.
Get him. That's a big fish. Damn.
Damn. Bud, that's got 10 written on it, bud.
I don't know.
All right, here's 0.
Patty.
He's 8.5.
8 pounds, 5
He's
ounces.
8.5.
We are back. Oh my God, guys, I fixed that thing. All right, I figured this whole thing out. Hold on, let me close this thing down so we stop hearing this thing. I figured it out. I think I figured out what's going on with the card here. Oh, I think I just ended my live stream. Not sure. Am I still live? Yep. Yeah, I guess I'm still here. All right, cool. Yeah, so that was a lot of fun, man. That thing was a little bit crazy, huh? But visibility as far as that goes, guys, 0. Absolute 0. You know what I mean? And that's the worst part about it, man. You can see nothing in that kind of water, yet it ends up being fire. You know what I mean? The day ends up really, really, really changing the minute that you end up hitting a fish like that in 0 visibility. So what could I attribute that to? I was using a fluke, okay? 0 noise. None whatsoever. I cast into, not on the structure, because there was a tree to the right. There was lily pads to the left. That wasn't like I cast back into any... There was still 4 to 5 feet behind where I should have been. You know what I mean? If I was to cast it into what they called a pocket. And then all of a sudden, I mean, I'm hooked up. Like as soon as it hit the water, man, and that's what I think. Like I was telling you guys earlier, I think that once the bait hit the water, it displaced enough of the particulate matter in the water by cavitation, as you know, Wolf said. That's what cavitation is, and the fish instinctively hit that thing. He didn't care what it was. He wasn't interested in worrying about it. He was looking bank forward in that area and just decided there's the break in the water, not what it is, but the break in the water, and it keyed on it, man. It really keyed on it. I think that's really, really cool. Yeah, that monster was just sitting there, Rod. Absolutely. Let's check out with some of you guys. Sound moves 5,000 times faster underwater than in air. This is very true. That's the whole basis for the, what did they call them back in the days? Hydrophones. Hydrophones were the big World War II during the submarine battles. They used hydrophones just for that reason, Wolf. Man, that's so neat how you can tie some of this stuff in, like, you know, scientifically engineered baits and stuff like that, you know, as if people really knew what was going on. But... so back to the colors, guys. Any of your stained water, I would go with something with some flash, man. Chartreuse, your yellows, your whites, those are going to be seen easier in stained water. But again, what do you do when it's so chocolate milk that it's literally 0? You know, that's an interesting question. At that point, are you going with vibration? Because I've had big fish without vibration, the silent entry, you know, and that's another thing we can look at and be realistic about and say, I don't know, you know, I don't know if that's the way this thing works or not, you know, and I don't know. Like I said, it's just something I'm trying to figure out, you know. As far as the newest things go, we're going to get into another one right now. Let's talk about another one of these new baits. And now Z-Man about a year ago came up with this particular bait. This is the Willow Vibes. Big eyeball. That's a 2-aught hook, guys. Cute little 2-aught hook, but again, wire keeper, powder coated down the neck to the, I keep forgetting, it's not a weld. I want to call it a weld. It's not, it's just soldered on there, but powder coated again, big eye on there. But take a look at this blade design. They call it a willow vibe. It's just a straight willow leaf. Same thing as with like spinner baits and stuff like that. I'm gonna run this on probably one of my diesel minnows. That's you know the old diesel minnows. You know the one that did the Kenansville mess over there. Yeah, that's the diesel minnows. Guys, I want to show you something really crazy though, because I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, dude, we've seen like 36 baits, and I'm like, yeah, I know. I said the same thing. Hold on. Alright guys, check this out. This is just the box of Chatterbait that I have. Now I know what you guys are thinking, well, that's just a couple. These are by the twos. These are like one up and one down, one up and one down. So it's like 44 on that side, and then you come over here, and these are all twoed, and there's another probably 75 on that side. And then I've got them all the way up to like saltwater stuff. Like, you want to see what the saltwater ones look like? Those are pretty cool too. They don't really apply to the freshwater, but I mean, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing but a thing. For those of you guys that like fishing out saltwater and stuff like that, this is what they call the big eye. And that's a 4/0, big 4/0 hook there. It's not really pleased with the keeper. They feel like the lead. It's basically just a lead coating on the metal ones. They work, but they're not. Again, with the Z-Man Elastec baits, it really doesn't matter. You know, as long as they're hooked on there, bud, they're gonna stay on there. But I've seen people catching like big redfish with these things. It's a lot more stout hook. The wire's a lot thicker gauge. You know what I mean? So it's not as thin gauge as the per se the jackhammer and stuff like that. But big half ounce. This one is a 5/0 half ounce. They come in 1/4 and 3/8. This is the Eye Strike from Chatterbait with the mustad hooks. So I mean, if any of you guys like saltwater fishing, these things right here, I'm sure they're going to be fire. I haven't had a chance to try them, but I'm waiting on the mini blade and a couple other different ones that I'm still waiting on to come into stock. Like, here's another one. This is remember I was telling you guys about those minnows? Well, this is the diesel Chatterbait, which is just one of those minnow Z's with its own Chatterbait head, more of a swim head. Okay, back to the uses. All right, you guys, you ready for this? Give me 2 seconds. All right, you're still alive. 79 Mini says, all right, let's see. That would have got to go another 30 days on the boat. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you guys aren't kidding. That would have cost me a whole bunch of fishing trips if I'd have pulled that on his boat, bud. Let's see. Tiny glow stick and chocolate melt type water and got mad results. Yeah, I'm with you, Rod. Again, that brings me back to that offsetting the actual light. You know what I mean? Rather than the color of the bait, just the actual fact that it's displacing the particulate matter in the water. You know what I mean? 1/4 ounce jig head bouncing on the bottom, flounder here. Yeah, ice, yeah, that's a big one too. 2/0 hook, 1/0 or 2/0 hook on those. That's a pretty good and effective method to use down there in the south water. I believe you're south of me, Ice, so I don't have any salt water, but eventually one day I'm going to get out and take that trip. All right, guys, where to use Chatterbait? If it's got water, use Chatterbait. That's just always been my motto. Which one would you use? All of them. I caught fish on every one of these things that I have, except the CFLs. I haven't run one of those yet. I haven't really come into a situation where I want to put like a 5 or a 6 inch trailer on that thing, because that's those CFLs. That's a really big bait. Wolf says, let me know when you want to go salt. Yeah, I'm with you, buddy. Trust me. Trust me. I'm afraid of saltwater fishing. I'll tell you guys. All right, you guys want a story? One in the chat if you want a story.
All right, you still alive. 79 Mini says, all right, let's see. That would have got to go 30. Another 30 days on the boat. Yeah, bro. Yeah, you guys aren't kidding. That would have cost me a whole bunch of fishing trips if I'd have pulled that on his boat, bud.
All right, you guys want to story? One in the chat if you want a story. Good, I'm glad you guys voted on that because you're getting a story, damn it. You're getting a story. All right, here we go. I don't know. I think I messed up my latency when I came into this second one, man. I had to restart everything. It was, dude, now I know what's going on. Now I know how I can fix it because it took me a minute, but I figured out how to fix it without having to log off. So now that I've got another monitor down here, another monitor up there, I've got another monitor here, and I'm going to have another monitor to my left. You guys is right here real shortly. So then I can have this whole set in my world, and then I've got another cam that's going to be up here that you guys aren't going to see, but it's actually going to be looking down here on the desk. And then I got another cam that I'm going to put up in the my back left corner, you guys' back right. That's actually just going to splash the whole mess up here in front. You know what I'm saying? So when I come in on the beginning of the shows, man, it's just going to be you guys standing behind me looking at everything that's going on these screens and thinking to yourself, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, this is nuts, dude. Yeah, well, this is what it takes to do a stupid little fishing show. You could do it like old Randy, you know, and it's just you and your phone, you know what I'm saying? And it's like some of the pictures your face and some of it's not your face, you know what I mean? Like, that's how it works, dude. And I can't do that. I really can't. I try to give you guys some kind of show. I see YouTube jerks with my stream as far as what I can see, and it looks like my picture's all distorted, but I'm looking on my signal side and I'm looking on YouTube's signal side, and it's telling me like, oh, everything's golden, man. Your stuff is fire. Everything's coming through beautiful. And I'm watching myself on the replay like, no, this looks rough, dude. Minnie, I'm with you on the tarpon, bro. I'm so with you on the tarpon. Like, okay, let's get back to chatterbaits real quick, and then we'll start shooting it on the tarpon, because that's another big thing that I love to talk about is fly fishing, dude. Like, king fly fishing dog. I don't think y'all know, man. I'm a beast with a fly rod, dude. I'm no joke. Like, you see those guys throwing 65, 70 yard fly casts, I'm all day. Like, it's no big deal for me. I don't need 150 yards around me, dude. I just need a little bit underneath this tree right here and give me about 15 throws and I got it. You know what I mean? Depending on the contact that you're looking to have, guys. All right, let's get into this. Depending on the contact that you're looking to have, I prefer my chatterbaits in a straight retrieve situation. 3 different types of retrieve with this. There's the steady or slow roll. And when I say that, you're gonna want to look for a rod with a medium to fast action tip, because you're just gonna get this little slight vibration like this, like almost like a palsy tremor. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what the tip of your rod's gonna be doing. Now, if you're throwing a 1/2 ounce, you better be using something medium heavy to heavy. Not a 2X, just a 1X straight heavy. That's what I roll. 1X straight heavy fast and a 7.6. Favorite series, favorite pro series is what I like to run as far as that. Are you against live bait? No, I'm not against live bait, bud. So back to the story. Okay, I'll give you the story now that we're done. All right, I just want to get a little bit more about the chatterbait out there. Okay, so I used to go scalloping every scalloping season down here in Florida. Every single one of them. Like, I never missed scalloping the Gulf, and I did this for like 6 years, dude. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it was no big deal. My buddy had a bus, one of those RV buses, and he was a professional, what do they call those guys? Wakeboarders? I don't even know. Like I said, dude had a different life than all of us. You know what I mean? But every once in a while, he'd be back in Florida, and he was down with doing him some wakeboarding, you know. And then if he was going scalloping, dude, we were on the trips. My other buddy had a real nice boat, man. It seated like 20 people. This thing was massive. It was like 32 foot. So when I say we went out scalloping, boys and girls, we were out. Like, see you, bye-bye. You know what I mean? So we took all the family and friends one time. It was a bunch of us, about 15 of us went out there scalloping. We had a buddy of ours, man. He was like, what do you do if there's a shark or a big fish? And I'm like, I don't know, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? I'm like, just pay attention to what you got going on there. You know, worst case scenario, dude, drop your scallops and get back to the boat, right? So this dude jumps in. We see him swimming around. We're all kind of laughing and stuff like that. And we're getting ready. I'm getting my gear and stuff. And buddy all of a sudden comes out of the water. And when I say he comes out of the water, like, you guys ever seen how a dolphin comes out of the water? Their arms, you know what I mean? Imagine your arms are down and your body's like doing this. And then all of a sudden he literally did not even put his hands on the boat. I swear to God, I swear to this day, he kicked his fins so fast and he came so fast back to the boat that it like ejected him from the water and onto the swim deck. You know, the back swim decks on boats are usually lower, so it's like right there. Dude, he was on it. He was on it like a dolphin. And he was like, I don't even know what it was. I don't even know what it was. And I'm like, bro, you need to relax. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to give yourself a heart attack. He's like, it almost ate me, I swear to God. And I'm just looking at myself like, what could possibly be down there? And I'm like, was it a shark? He's like, I don't even know. I just turned around and it was teeth. And I was like, oh, here it goes, dude. So I'm thinking, well, I guess we're not doing this today. You know what I mean? Like, buddy saw teeth, and now he's game over. So you guys know me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I'll do it. I'm whatever, dude. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm down there swimming around. I get me 8, 10, 12 scallops, and I'm pretty good at holding my breath. So I can go down and stay for a minute and hang out. Well, all of a sudden, out of the corner of my left eye, I see something streak. Silver streak. Gone. Thinking, oh boy, this must be what Buddy saw. You know what I'm saying? Well, next thing you know, man, in a panic, I like turned myself right around. Dude, there's like a 4.5 foot barracuda like staring at me, like inches from my face. Like, this is what I felt like. And that was nuts, dude. I came out of dude, that was it. Game over for me. You understand what I'm saying? I am all set on the 4.5 foot barracuda. 8 inches, maybe 4. You know how the goggles, you know, your goggles, like everything is like right there. So this thing is like literally teeth. Dude, out of the water I went. That was like my 5th year of scalloping and my final year of scalloping at the same time. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that was it for me, dude. There's no more ocean fishing. There's no more going far away on a boat. Yeah, you know, there's things out there that eat people. You understand? They eat everything. They eat whales. They eat shrimp. They eat people. You know, and you understand, people, that's the thing. We're on the food chain when we go out in the ocean. You know what I mean? I am not a fan. Now, that's not to say that if we weren't like, you know, a couple of guys that I trust, and you guys are all a little bit more survival minded like myself, you know, you've got your pocket inflatable shark repellent on your bat utility belt. Like, yeah, we can go. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, dude, if you're going to look at me and be like, yeah, so there's a possibility we could hook up on some 12 and 14 foot sailfish, but unfortunately there will also be 22 foot great whites. I'm all set. You understand? Considering the boat's 22 foot. Not comfortable. Very uncomfortable. Suddenly, very uncomfortable. I've seen those videos of those guys hooking into things and pulling the backs of the boats. They're all laughing and having a good time. I didn't see any humor in that. You know what I mean? Like, that to me is not my element. No. So that kind of did it for me in the whole thinking about, let's go out there and do this. Not so much on the ocean. Not so much. Not to say I wouldn't go, but like I said, there's a whole list of things like life insurance, all that stuff has to make sure I'm good. I just have a fear, dude. It's bad. It's scary. All right, guys, back to the old good times here. As far as what I'm throwing and where, man, it's all you. It really is. Without being able to physically put these things in the water, I showed you guys the difference as far as the original, the hand skirt's not there. Yeah, ice. Barracuda is a delicacy in some countries. Buddy, I ain't eating it. You understand? I ain't even fishing for it. I don't want it near me. We're not friends. But then you get from the Chatterbait original into the Jackhammer series, the Jackhammer Stealth series, the Big Blade series, the Cross-Eyed Jig series, right up to the CFLs and the mini blades. And like I said, if one's not working, another one will. And in the future, this summer, when I do the whole underwater video, and you guys actually get a chance to hear these things underwater, you're going to know the difference between a straight cadence. Then I'm going to give you the bump and lift, where as the baits fall, some of them don't flutter. Other heads, the way they're shaped, cause them to flutter on the way down. So that's another reason why there was those different little subtle changes in the heads are actually the effect of the aerodynamics for the fall, and whether or not the actual blade flutters or not. That's another design feature. I can't really show you guys all that without actually throwing them in the pool and you guys having 3 different camera angles to watch them. I think that's going to be a really cool thing for you guys. As far as barracuda and stuff go, guys, I really don't want to catch any of those. You know what I mean? I've seen, like, I got a buddy whose family's big into the salt, man. They go down there and do all kinds of, you know, their whole life was on big boats in the back of saltwater boats, catching tournament fish and tuna fish and dolphin and all. I mean, dude, that's just crazy. Snook, I've never caught any snook. You know, like I said, I've never. Now, would I go catch snook? I hear snook are a topwater fish, man. Like, they really aren't that far out. I don't know. I want to catch some redfish. I want to go out and get some redfish. I really want to go do some more fly fishing, though. That's where I'm at. I want to go back and hit some fly fish. Like, I want to go off somewhere and, I don't know, just one of those crazy drum, mahi, yeah. But all those are, you know, again, every one of those sounds like a good time. It's just that whole ocean adventure, man. You can't drink the water, you know what I mean? I got to have my bat shark repellent. It's a little nerve-wracking, dude. It's ocean fishing. Like I said, 5 years of scalloping, never had an issue until the giant barracuda, dude. And that was a game changer because I'm thinking to myself, okay, because I didn't hear this thing. I didn't see this thing. I turned around and got lucky and saw this thing. And for all I know, this thing was getting ready to take an ear off. You know what I mean? And just take it with them. And that would have been a big, nasty, how do I explain this? Who's going to believe it? '79 Mini said it's only scary if you want it to be. I wanted it to be. You understand? It was traumatic, buddy. Traumatic. I don't think you guys understand. That was bad. I watched Buddy freak out and I'm like, you chicken. Yeah. Somebody said get back on the horse. That's one way to look at it, man. That is definitely one way to look at it. Like I said, I'm sorry I messed up the latency, dude. I'm getting good at this, man. I'm kind of new at it. I'm learning new things and figuring out little problems and stuff like that that are occurring on the OBS side. So who knows, man? Next couple episodes, I could have this whole thing figured out and be moving right through it pretty quick. Yeah. Other than that, guys, if you guys have any crazy questions or you want to see any of those baits again, man, stick something in the chat real quick. I'll hang out for a couple more minutes and then we'll move along. But if anybody's got any questions or suggestions, I'm always down for suggestions for the next show, man. Somebody stole my idea. No, nobody stole my idea, but several other people went on my topic tonight. So I decided to do like a pretty in-depth Chatterbait look at this and see what's really going on type of thing. I don't know what that was, if you guys heard that or not. Something's beeping and dinging. I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't know, guys. Other than that, man, you guys want to watch a video? What do you want to do? One in the video for a story, two for a quick video watch. One for a story, two for a video watch. Alright, guys, you're getting both. One for the story. Minnie wants a story. Rod wants a story. Alright, man. Let's tell a story. Oh, let's tell a fishing story. Let's tell a really funny fishing story. So, yeah. Here we go. This is a good one. You guys are gonna love this. So one time, man, I'm out, my buddy Patty, that's my pontoon boat buddy. We took our buddy Seabass and his friend April. Girlfriend April, and we all went out, and there was this whole girls can't fish conversation, right? And we're riding over to the spot, and we're kind of like far off. And this is when we went all the way across the other side of Big Lake Harris for this spot. We found this spot. Patty found this spot. We fished it a few times, man. We've hooked up some big fish. But nonetheless, we head over to this spot, right? And I'm like, you guys see that? And off in the distance, man, I see a black bear posted up on the side of the bank. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, there's a big black bear. And I told everybody, I'm like, guys, look at this. Look, it's a black bear. And they're all like, wow, I can't hardly see it. I'm like, oh, I can see it. I got eagle eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see fish in the water like 40 yards, 50 yards away, man. That's a black bear posted up if I ever did see it. So we start getting closer. I'm telling Patty, I'm like, slow down, man. I think it's moving. I think it's moving. I'm telling him, I gotta get my cameras, right? 'Cause you guys know me. Gotta get my cameras. I want to try to film this, dude. We're in nature in the wild here. We got a black bear catching fish off the bank. This is some Nat Geo. You know what I mean? Like, this is gonna be big money. And we start inching forward, and we're getting closer, and we're getting closer. And it's kind of early in the morning, right? So the fog starts to dissipate. And it's a stump. It's just a stump. It's been there forever. We've seen it 100 times. It was just a fog, and I had this whole moment. I'm telling these guys we're filming nature, dude, and it's just a stump. You know, so it's amazing how just the smallest, the reason I told that story is because just the smallest changes in your environment, even from the way we look at things, change our entire perception of what we're seeing. You know, so why do we need all the chatterbaits? I'll tell you why we need all the chatterbaits, because if one of them doesn't work, another one will. You know, and you can use them year round, man. Down here in South Florida, in the Florida region, the southeast region, unless the water gets less than like 60, 55 degrees, they're still going to hit the chatterbait. If they're moving fish, they hit moving baits. If they're stable fish, they hit stable baits. So on that note, guys, it has been real. It has been fun. I will see you guys on the next one. If you're new to the channel, don't forget, hit the button. Thank you guys all for coming out. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thanks for bearing with me. I fixed the freeze problem, but until next time, guys, see ya.